Hey y'all, let me just make sure this is set up. Okay, I think we're good. Hey, happy Monday. Missed you guys over the long weekend. I hope you guys ate a bunch at Easter. I don't know if you guys did what we did. We did the Zoom uh, family get together. It was so weird. We're on the computer and kids are screaming and going nuts, and it just was goofy, but it is what it is. So, same reason I'm talking to you on the computer, right? We're all doing our best, guys. Hang in there, man. I know this is tough. I know this is not, oops, not how you want to do life, but we're going to make it and we're going to do it. So, we got this. Come on, we can do it. Hey, here's the deal. I want to get going because you guys have stuff to do and you guys have a life. So, again, do your video a day, question of the day, gratitude of the day, right? If you looked at today, which is April 13th, it's a Monday. I put this PowerPoint on there. That's not going to be that helpful for you because it doesn't have any of the answers of the work on there, but I put it on there if you want it. But that worksheet, to get that done, everything you need is in the little box at the top. It has the equation, it has the work. Some of you guys can just get after and go. That's fine. But here's what I want to do. I think it's helpful for everybody to get a little bit of practice. So I'm going to go through all 7 questions on that worksheet. Okay. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do the work and give you the answer. Now, I put this in the instructions, but I don't care about the answers. I don't. I want to see the work. And I don't know the best way to show the work. Here's mine. Okay. This is how I did it. I don't know how to do it any other way. I got it. I wrote it out. You could print it and then write it on the sheet. I don't even have a printer that has ink at my house. So I just wrote it out. If I were you, I'd have to take a picture with my phone. Could you take a picture, post that, click the turn in button, and I'm done. But whatever works for you is fine. Here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to shut up and get rolling through the worksheet. I'm going to say watch as much or as little as you need. If you need to go through all 7 questions with me and write it out as I write it out, great. If you do number 1, start number 2 and go, dude, I got this, great. Or maybe you get to number 6 and you're like, ooh, I don't get 6. And you want to come back and just skip forward to number 6 so you get that one. Awesome. You do what you need to do to be successful. Key to life. Okay. So I'm going to go through it. Just a reminder, last week we talked about 5 different ways you can quantify concentration. We did percent by mass. We did percent by volume. We talked about parts per million. Remember the fish in Minnesota, we talked about the mercury can build up and it's measured in parts per million. And then there's molarity and molality. We'll talk about those later. But today I want to go through how do we do percent by mass and percent by volume. We walked through that last week, but today I just want to do a bunch of practice on it. Okay, and by a bunch I mean 7. 7, that's it. You can do that. Okay, so I'm going to go through it. Here we go. Number 1. Now, before we get into just the equations and just getting through the numbers and crunching it. By the way, you might need a calculator. Again, I use my cell phone. You guys are welcome to do that. But just remember, there's 2 questions. What is the solvent? What is the solute? Remember, the way it works, solvent is what? Remember, that's you. Okay. That's what does the dissolving. It's the dissolver. Okay. The solute gets dissolved. Okay, so the solvent is the dissolver, the solute gets dissolved. Another way of looking at this, the dissolver, the solvent, is always going to be more. The solute, the thing that gets dissolved, is always going to be less. Now you think about that salt water, right? Salt gets dissolved in the water, but what do you have more of? Aren't you always going to have more water than you have salt? So the chemical you have more of is the dissolver, it's the solvent. The one you have less of is the solute, it gets dissolved. So in this one, it says, what is the percent by mass? 5 grams of iron sulfate, dissolved in 75 grams of water. So think about it. What's more? More water, 75 grams. What's less? Iron sulfate, 5 grams. Okay. So again, I'm hitting those words heavy, but solvent, solute, you got to know those. Okay, so now let's jump down and do the math. It says, what is a percent by mass? So I look over to the right. I have this white box over here, right? Percent by mass. Well, here we go, percent by mass. Right there, that's the equation I need. I need the mass of the solute over mass of the solution. Okay, so solute, again, we just talked about it. It's the less. Well, which one's less? It's the 5 grams. 5 grams of what? Iron sulfate. So that's going to go on the top. I'm going to have 5 grams of iron sulfate on the top, and that's going to go over the solution. Now, a lot of you guys right away are going to go, all right, 75 grams, that's the solution. No. That's not the solution. That's the solvent. Well, crud, what's the solution? Remember, the solution is the solvent plus the solute. So it is 75 grams, which is the solute, yes, but it's also the solute, which is 5 grams. So if I look at that, well, I got 5 grams over 75 plus 5, that's 80. Uh-oh, what just happened? That's 80. And now I got to pull up my calculator, right? I go 5 divided by 80. Okay, what do I get there? I did it wrong on my example. There we go. 5 divided by 80 equals 0.0625, and I'm done. However, I'm done. However, it asks for the percent. This is not a percent, that's a decimal. So remember, to get a percentage, I multiply by 100. Oops. And really what I do is I just move the decimal point over 2 spots. So it'll be 6.25%. Boom, I'm done. I'm done, that's it. 6.25% is my solute, what got dissolved, that's iron 2 sulfate. Now you could say, well, what's the percent of the solvent? Well, I just subtract from 100, right? That'd be what, 93.75? I can do that in my head, okay? Let's do number 2. Same 3 questions. What's the solvent? What's the solute? Okay, so again, solvent is more, solute is less. So what do I got? Read the question. The solution is made by adding 25 milliliters of benzene to 80 milliliters of toluene. Okay, well, which one's more? 80 mils, that's toluene. Which one's less? 25, that's benzene. They're both alcohols. They end in ene, E-N-E. It's a type of alcohol. Okay, but benzene, there's more of it, so that's my solvent. Toluene, there's less of it, so that's my solute. So then it says, what's the percent by volume? Here it is, percent by volume. Okay, mass of solute, again, that's the less, right? So that's my benzene, so that's 25 milliliters. That doesn't look like a 5. 25 milliliters over the mass of the solution. Now remember, the solution is both the solute and the solvent. So I got to go 80 plus 25. So that equals 25 over what, 105, if my math is right? Okay, now I punch into my calculator, right? It's 0.238. I'm done. Now again, I'm done, but what does it ask for? It asks by the percent by volume. This is a decimal point. I need a percent. So to do that, I just multiply by 100. Take that decimal point, move it over 2 spots. I get 23.8%, and I'm done. Okay. Now, some of you guys you're like, oh, I totally get this. Done. Stop watching, finish it, be done. Okay, that's it. If you need more work, keep watching. Let's go. Now notice on number 3, I did not even ask what's the solute, what's the solvent. I'm hoping you know that. Solute gets dissolved, it's less. Solvent does the dissolving, it's more. So What's it ask? Percent by mass. Boom, right away. Percent by mass. Solute on top. That's the less. Which one's less? 35, right? That's ammonia. So I got 35 grams on top. Solution on bottom. Solution is both solute and solvent added together. So again, 35 plus 250. What's that? 35 over 285, right? Pull out my calculator. 35 divided by 285. I got 12.3. Excuse me. 0.123. I'm jumping the gun. 0.123, but I need percent. So I multiply it by 100. Moves the decimal over 2 spots. I get 12.3 percentage, not grams. Percentage. 12.3%. Okay, we getting it? Go to number 4, percent by volume. Percent by volume. Solute on top, solution on bottom. Solute's the less, so 25 on top. Add them together on bottom, 25 plus 45. 25 over 70, right? Plug them in. 0.357 on the calculator. That's not a percentage. So I got to multiply it by 100. I do that. I move the decimal point over 2 spot. I get 35.7%. I'm done. See how fast that is? Now again, I don't want you to write down 35.7 and say, there it is, Mr. G, I got to see the work. Whoa, what did I do? What did I do? I got to see the work. Got to see all of it, okay? Let's keep going, man. We're doing great. 3 more. Now, this one's a little more convoluted because it asks for more than just one thing. It says, what is the mass percent? So I'm going to be here, percent by mass of each component. So now what do I got? It says there's a mixture formed by calcium sulfate, sodium nitrate, potassium chloride, and water. So there's 4 things in there. Now the water is by far the greatest, so we know that's the solvent. So I don't really need the percentage of that. You could do it, but the other 3 are the solutes, right? Because they're less, 12 grams, 18 grams, 25 grams. All 3 of those are much less than 500 grams. So there's 3 solutes in 1 solvent water. So let's do one at a time. Okay, so let's start with calcium sulfate. I want percent by mass. Here it is. Okay, mass of solute, well, that's 12 grams over the solution. Eesh, now what's the solution? Solution is all of them, right? So think about that. That's 12. That's 18, right? Because I have 18 sodium nitrates. That's 25. That's the potassium chloride. And that's 500 water. Woo. So you add the bottom up, you get 12 on top, but you add the bottom, I got 555. Now I do that bottom number, by the way, is going to be the same for all of them. So when I do my calculation, I dial it up, 12 divided by 555, I got 0.022. Okay, so now what do? Well, see if I can erase this. I'm going to do the same darn thing, but instead of 12 on the top, I got to use my next one. Okay, I got to use 18. Now I already know the bottom, so I can just go 18 over 555. And I can do the same with the next one, 25 over 555. Okay, so I do the math, I got 0.022. That was for my 12 grams of calcium sulfate. 18 divided by 555. That one I got 0.032. 25 divided by 0.55. I got 0.045. Okay, now all three of these, they're great, but they're not percentages. And so to figure those out, I just multiply by 100, right? Slide the decimal over 2 spots, over 2 spots, over 2 spots. And so what I get 2.2%, I'd get 3.2%, I'd get 4.5%. There it is. So it's not any different, but the biggest thing, I got to add all of those to the bottom for the solution, because the solution is solvent, water, plus solute, and there's 3 of them. The 12 grams, the 18 grams, the 25 grams. We're almost done, guys. 2 more. 6 is quick. Ready? Here we go. Percent by mass. 25 grams, 1.5 kilogram. Uh-oh. We got an issue here. The issue is grams, kilograms. Which one's less? Ooh. How do I? Ooh, it doesn't work if I got grams and kilograms. So I got to look right here, right? That's what I got to use. Before I do anything, I got to convert them to the same. So let's do that. I don't know if you remember how to do this. 125 grams. That's what I got. I want to convert it to kilograms. So what do? I multiply by the fraction. Gram on top, gram on bottom, kilogram on top. Woo! Now I got to plug this in. How many kilograms? 1. How many grams? 1,000. Gram on top, gram on bottom. They cancel out. 125 over 1,000. Okay. What I found out, that is going to be 0.125 kilograms. That is equal to 125 grams. So now I'll reread it. A solution is made by dissolving 0.125 kilograms in 1.5 kilograms. So this one is definitely less. That's going to be your solute. So percent by mass, solute. Here we go. Now we do what we do. 0.125 over 1.5 plus 0.125. That's my solution, both the solute and the solvent, right? I add that up, I get 0.125 over 1.625, right? I plug that in my calculator. I don't know what I get. I did it before I hopped on. I got 0.077. Now change it to percent, right? Multiply by 100, slide the decimal over 2 spots, 7.7%, and I'm done. Okay, last one. 15 liters, 28 liters, 15 is less, 28 is more. This is my solute, this is my solvent, add them together, it's my solution, right? 15 over, what's that, 30, 43. 15 divided by 43.349. I'm done. Problem is it's not a percent, so I multiply by 100 with a decimal over 2, 34.9%. Boom, I'm done. Guys, hopefully you got bored because you did it so much. You're like, I get it, I understand it. If you're there, way to go. All you had to do was write down my chicken scratches and you're set. I gave you the answers. I showed how to do the work. Sorry the video got so long. Again, hopefully if you didn't need it, you didn't spend a lot of time watching it, but if you needed it, whoop, whoop, way to go. Way to stick with it. Proud of you. Get that done. Show your work, show your work, show your work. Click the turn in and you're done. All right, guys, you did it. Way to go. You survived it. Proud of you. We are done, my friends. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Have an awesome Monday. Peace out, y'all.